5 days of the year, my friend.
So, to no surprise, Matt has already told us that he's going to vote yes. Otherwise, why go into all of these different amendments? I want to talk to you about being on the right side of history and about your legacy. And the only way I can think of to really do that is to have you look into the future. If you approve this pilot program, this is how I see things. If you vote to approve the proposed guidelines for a pilot drone program, you are in effect approving the pilot program, authorizing the acquisition by LAPD of a drone, and giving your blessing to the use of drones in LA by LAPD. In the years to come, it is a given that all of our fears and predictions will have come to fruition. The LAPD will have bought more and more drones as its thirst to increase its inventory of the tools of militarization will know no bounds. The LAPD will have, at some time in the next few years, weaponized those drones. Civil court cases will force the LAPD to reveal that it had collected data on targeted neighborhoods unlawfully, used that data in a manner that caused harm to Black and brown communities, and that the LAPD violated the human rights of already victimized communities and people. Audits will reveal that the LAPD failed to fully report on the scope of its use of drones. Studies will be conducted that will document the harm and trauma caused to young people terrorized by the force occupying their neighborhoods from above. The LAPD will still be the most murderous law enforcement agency in the country. We in LA will look back and see that the PC repeatedly over time approved one revision after another to the drone regulations. According to the LAPD, its authorization to use the drones in circumstances and for purposes prohibited by the original proposed policies. And time will show that the PC continued its rubber stamping of any LAPD proposal
Next
put
speaker,
before
please.
it.
The next four
Vote no
speakers.
on this proposal. This is not a
Karen
game, and there are
Hilton.
real people whose lives are at
Karen.
stake.
No to drugs!
Karen Holtzman, and Gilbert Salcedo, Megan Ortiz, and Trudy Goodwin.
Can we ask for like three or four people to line up at the same time? So we can manage as much time. as we can.
Have these four individuals.
Too much at a time.
Karen Hiltzman, Gilbert Salcedo, Megan Ortiz, and Trudy Goodwin.
These jabs.
Ms. Hiltzman?
I sent a letter to the LA Times, but I'm going to read it because you're really the intended audience. The Times editorial board likely and naively dismissed the public's concern about the LAPD SWAT team's use of drones with even less of a conscience than you did at your October 3rd meeting. And yes, we should all be clear that it's the SWAT team that would be in charge of implementing the proposed drone pilot program. At least the commissioners acknowledge that somewhere between 93 and 97% of community feedback oppose the LAPD's use of drones. You also know that mission creep and militarization are real, with the expanded use and role of the SWAT team over the years being a perfect example. You're also aware that promises of transparency made by the LAPD are too often promises never kept. So while the Times editorial board, as an independent body, has every right and prerogative to express its opinion, the police commission is in a different position. You know the LAPD's use of drones is not inevitable, despite the advances of technology, because you have the power to stop it. You know the drones will be utilized disproportionately to further intimidate, terrorize, and traumatize communities of color. You remember that Seattle canceled its drone program and that the LA Sheriff's Civilian Oversight Board voted just weeks ago to ground its drone. As a body that rubber stamps whatever the LAPD's heart desires, you're undeniably caught in a crisis of conscience. For the sake of the civilians whose interests you're supposed to represent, protect, and serve, please, commissioners, you need to reject the use of drones in LA.